Well, we're in night 2 now of the draft. North Melbourne are on the clock.
In amongst the brain trust there for North Melbourne. What is the role of the senior coach tonight, if they're in working through the selection?
Well, probably challenge the list manager and the recruiter, and get involved in the debate. And we've got Brady Rawlings there, head of talent, and you've got Will First.
Well, the pick is in for North.
He'll be there along with Alistair, so plenty of experience. But the key to it is having a system that you've agreed upon before as to if it gets contentious or you're all a different opinion, how do we make the final?
Yeah, Shannon, just watching the night 2 of the draft and also live streaming to see which new players will be joining their teams.
Displayed what he's capable of late in the season at West Coast Eagles. He looks to be a really promising key forward, someone that's got a bright future. So you're right, Shifter, they can sometimes take a little bit to come on, a little bit to develop the tools, but geez, once they do, it's exciting, isn't it?
He was excellent, Shanahan.
Couldn't we see Louis Emmett end up at the Kangaroos? Could it be Blake Fredgold? Well, the pick's in.
With pick 26, North Melbourne selects Blake Threadgold from the Sturt and Norwood Union Football.
Well, Blake Fredgold is now a row.
So a wiry, tall defender, probably the second best defender in the draft behind Dean, and rated a bit like a Harris Andrews shifter.
Yeah, and the first time we saw it in the national stage was the last of the games for SA this year. He'd been injured with a hand injury. It took him about 10 minutes to start taking contested marks, and you've gone, wow, this is a boy of 194 centimetres with a big leap, a massive leap that we saw late in the year when tested. He had a great then back half of the year, including winning the Alan Stewart medal. That's the best on the ground medal in there.
Well, the Western Bulldogs are on the clock now.
He played for Sturt, he dominated, took 12 marks in that game and really showed that he looked to have all of the qualities to be an AFL defender. So interceptor at the elite level is what you described him as.
Yeah, I agree, Shifter. Look, I think he's got a bit of Mark O'Connor. So Mark O'Connor, Harris Andrews, we get the picture. He's that interceptor, and geez, what I love about him, once he sets himself aerially, he owns it. He absolutely.
Next pick, Western Bulldogs are taking their time as they're now on the clock.
He's that really nice hybrid type, and you look at some of the forwards now that are coming through, they are a similar size. We're not seeing those 199, 200 centimetre types, so he'll have a big role to play, Blake Threadgold.
South Australia having a wonderful draft so far.
Yeah, they are. Geez, didn't they produce some talent on night 1, and they kicked us off night 2 and having a remarkable season after winning the Under-18 championships.
And that's 8 players. Well done to Tony Van, their coach, that has worked tirelessly in the talent pathway for quite a number of years. And this is probably the best year, certainly in the first round from last night, and then to get the first one here. And there's still a few to come, I reckon.
Yeah, I thought you'd be right, Shifter. I think there's still plenty of talent. There's a lot of depth there on the board and a lot more to come out of South Australia.
All right, we're going to meet Blake now, who joins us on Fox Footy. How are you feeling? You've got a massive crew there behind you who all look incredibly excited. You've got the Kangaroos balloons and scarf on already. You're all prepped and ready to go.
Yeah, it's such an incredible feeling. I feel so grateful for the opportunity, and obviously got all my friends and family here. I love them so much, and I'm so thankful that they're here.
What's the last 24 hours been like? Obviously, you would have watched last night unfold, and were you disappointed when you didn't get picked up last night? How's the nerves been today?
I was very nervous last night, through to the end, just waiting for my name to get picked. But I was happy for it to come out today, and I was just laying in bed last night hoping I'd get called out. So pretty crazy.
Blake, congratulations. Were you tipped off at all over the course of today? You've obviously got the scarf there and some blue balloons in the background and the like. Did you have much of an idea? And was there any guarantee given?
I didn't read into it too much. I just sort of put my head down and just didn't really know which team was going to pick me. But I'm happy for it to be North Melbourne. I'm so grateful and I love it.
Yeah, Blake, what a year you've had. You played your role in that winning side for SA in the national champs. Sturt have won the under-18 premiership and you've been best on the ground in that game, and now you're drafted. One of the great moments.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's amazing to win a premiership and then get drafted in the same year. It's such a surreal feeling, and it's been a big year for me, developing myself into like the person I want to be and as a player. So yeah, it's been amazing.
How excited are you to move across here to Melbourne and the Kangaroos and play under the legendary coach that is Alistair Clarkson?
I'm feeling so excited. It's so surreal. I've been getting ready to move for the opportunity, like getting ready to cook, clean, all that sort of stuff. Thanks to Mum for teaching me how to do some of that stuff. Without her, I don't know where I would be. So yeah, I can't wait.
Oh, well done. Your mum must be incredibly proud, as I'm sure all your family.
Pick is in for the Bulldogs.
We look forward to seeing you over here in Kangaroos colours in the not too distant future.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate this.
Well done, Blake. Go and enjoy it.
Geez, they were pretty subdued in the background there. They held their colour pretty well. Yes, they were well behaved, and might be just about time for them to explode, I would have thought.
With pick 27, Western Bulldogs have selected Louis Emmett from the Oakley Chargers and Glen Iris Junior Football Club.
Well, Louis Emmett's now a dog.
Plays a bit like Matt Swan, aerobically brilliant. I understand he comes from a really successful rowing family. Brothers go to Harvard and Yale, and had a bit of a rowing background himself, which may well be where he gets that aerobic capacity and work rate from.
Well, I'll tell you what, he is an awesome specimen. Just the shape and type of this young man at 199 centimetres that we've seen play the ruck role, plays a key forward. Some suggest he could be a key defender. He's got elite athletic ability. Another boy that runs about the 2K in about 6 minutes at that size. We just didn't see players like that 10 or 20 years ago. Had a great 17th year, had some injury interruptions this year, so that slowed him up a wee bit. But geez, he could have easily got, if this draft was April, you take him in the top 10. A lot to see with him in the future, just on his potential. He can mark the ball, a beautiful long left foot kick, and he looks set for an AFL career for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that, Shifter. When I watched him play, he looked to be a real key position type prospect for mine. I love his athleticism, and you get back to Cooper Duff-Tytler and the like, and their ability to get around the ground, but he just moves a little bit like the King twins, I found, when watching Lewis Emmett, so it's a bit to be excited about for Bulldogs fans moving forward.
Brilliant, and it's great when you hear of youngsters that have done other sports and been able to balance that with football, but in the end, Shifter, AFL and Aussie rules wins out.
Yeah, we've plucked a few, I think, over the last 24 hours, haven't we, that had options. And look, that's what we're after. First choice athletes that can do anything. And they're going to make a choice at some point.
Carlton have got the pick.
Sensational stuff. So a big congratulations to Louis Oakley Chargers and his club, the Glen Iris. Also renowned for kicking goals, which the Western Bulldogs will love.
Absolutely, and as we just await the pick from the Carlton Footy Club, so I reckon they'd have to be absolutely wrapped that there's been no bid yet on Jack Ison, so they're going to get an opportunity to bring another player through the door before the bid comes, and it's exciting times for Carlton fans who, on the back of the trade period, I thought they were exceptional, did a really good job, and they're going to have a bit to build on in 2026, but come 2027, I think we're going to start to see the fruits.
And some talent is still on the draft board at the moment. So, as you said earlier, the depth of this draft is definitely showing through.
And the people to make the decision. Nick Austin, we can see in there, their list manager, Mick Agresta, their recruiting manager.
Chris Davies in their shifter in the navy blue, the new colours.
There he is. And
we believe they are talking to the Gold Coast regarding a potential trade of picks here.
Well, there might be a trade.
Step back a little bit with no bid yet on ice, and then rather go back and be able to, if they need to use points, use them from further back. So that's a bonus for them that there hasn't been an early bid on him.
Still more players come. Kobe Coulson, shifter for the Gold Coast Suns. So maybe, I just mentioned Carlton trying to get a player through the door before a bid comes. Maybe the Gold Coast Suns trying to get up the board a little bit and get someone in the open draft prior to another one of their academy prospects being bid on.
Philip, who there our Fox Lab rank at number 17, of course, the brother of Mateus.
Well, Gold Coast have got pick 28.
Player. This is Jevon, another confident young lad, a midfielder, so expect him to go sometime in the next few picks as well.
Yeah, a guy that's got some great attributes, a guy that can play forward, can go through the midfield. He certainly doesn't lack confidence. He's a little bit smaller than what Mateus is, shifter.
And then we can see a recap of the trade. So we've got the Gold Coast Suns up next, who absolutely swept the floor last night with all of their academy picks. And so far it was tick, 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 tick. They've been able to land them all.
Yeah, they have. And it's full credit to them as well. That wouldn't have been no mean feat to be able to acquire the points to get these guys through the door. And we've heard a lot of noise across the public and social media platforms and the like, but it's going to cost them at some stage. Now, whether that's in 2026 or 2027 when, they've had to accumulate points, shuffled back in the draft going forward. But like I said last night, the Gold Coast Suns are going and their time is now. That's what they're aiming at. So don't get too excited. This isn't going to be a repeat draft in 26 and 27.
With pick 28, the Gold Coast Suns have selected Avery Thomas from the Tasmanian Devils and the Launceston Football Club.
Well,
so Avery, a defender with a lot of athletic attributes.
Suns have got Avery Thomas from the Tassie Devils.
Agility test and vertical jumps at the combine, so a great tester.
Yeah, I just think Isaac Quainer, when you look at Avery Thomas, he's a boy, his dad had West Indian and English blood, so he's a boy that's just got all those athletic abilities that Quainer has got. He can jump, he can run, he's agile. He won the Devil of the Year, which is an award for the boy that was the best pro, the best work ethic, which are wonderful things to see next to his name. He played for the Allies this year. Loved the way he handled that step up from being an under-18 player for Tassie in the Coach Talent League to play national championships. That athletic ability, you mentioned it, was pretty special. So they've earmarked him, Avery Thomas, as one that they want to see up there.
West Coast are up next.
Just unflappable. We don't collaborate on this by any stretch, but I had Isaac Quainer written two-shifter. He's not a big possession winner, Avery Thomas, but very, very effective with ball in hand, makes smart decisions, chock full of power. He tested 5th in the agility test and 4th in the 20-metre sprint. Had a couple of injuries, suffered the broken nose during the course of the year, but a very promising athlete that covers the ground in a manner that very few can.
All right, we're going to head to Avery Thomas now, the newest Gold Coast Sun. Mate, how are you feeling? What an incredible moment for you and your family.
I'm speechless. So unexpected, and it's an unreal feeling.
So talk us through what it's like. You're sitting there, you're surrounded by your family and friends, and Greg Swan's reading out each name. I mean, what is that moment like when you hear your name read out?
It's amazing. I don't know how I'm speechless. It's just so shocked. So, yeah.
Avery, congratulations, mate. What a fantastic achievement. And the first of the Tassie boys to go out of this year's draft. And, mate, some of the people behind you, obviously you're speechless, and it's been a nervous 24 hours for yourself. Who are some of the people in the background that have stood by you? And I'm sure there were plenty of nerves there as well.
Everybody in this room has played a major role in where I've got to now, and they're going to help me along the way as well. So everybody.
Tell us about your journey, Avery. It's Kevin here. What other interests you had along the way and finally chose footy? Tell us about your background as a young sportsman and then your progression into footy.
Yeah, so I played a bit of, I did athletics and played a bit of soccer when I was younger, and then I did athletics up until I was like 17, and then I was doing like decathlons and all that, and then I was playing football the entire time, and yeah, and then just went all in this year, and it's come off. So
You enjoyed playing for the Allies when you stepped up to national champs?
yeah, it was awesome. It was an awesome feeling getting selected and playing for the Allies. Like it was an awesome achievement for me, and yeah, it was like awesome experience and something I won't forget.
I'm sure your head is spinning and you won't have even really thought about it, but the idea of moving from Tassie to the Gold Coast, how exciting is that? How daunting is that?
I'm super, super excited to adapt into it. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the warm weather and adapting to a new lifestyle, so it should be awesome.
And Damien, things, it feels like an exciting club. It feels like a club that's really going places.
Yeah, for sure. Like Gold Coast are playing some really exciting football, and I can't wait to play under Damien Hardwick, so it should be elite.
Avery, so good to meet you. I think everyone in the football community will be so excited to see you join the Gold Coast Suns. Congratulations. Go and enjoy this night. It's one you'll never forget.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Cheers. Well done. What a wonderful young man.
Yeah,
It's pro, the best work ethic, which are wonderful things to see next to it.
to be speechless. We can't imagine what that feels like, and to see our raw emotions growing. We just see on the screen there about the Bolter, so ranked 45, taking a pick 28, so it's no wonder he was caught by surprise a little bit, Shifter.
Yes, but
Pick is in for West Coast.
With pick 29, the West Coast Eagles have selected Sam Allen from the Oakley Chargers and Glen Iris Junior Football Club.
Shifter, what sort of player are the West Coast Eagles picking up here? They've been able to get some beauties so far.
Well, they found a replacement for the Allen name at West Coast. They've gone from Oscar Allen to Sam Allen.
So the pick for the future here, he's had nearly 12 months out, so he'll be back playing into next year. He could have been anything in my view. His running abilities in the super, 2% of all the athletes, speed, endurance. At the moment playing on the wing that could progress, a nice frame kid that could progress to play even inside mid. So long term, his grandfather was Ray Groom. Ray Groom ended up a best and fairest winner at Melbourne, so he's got football in his blood. In the Premier of Tasmania too, by the way, so in the Hall of Fame over there in Tasmania for his footy. So he's got the bloodlines, and certainly the glimpses we've seen in the last few years are very, very positive for this young man.
Both tonight and last night, seeing players that have done the ACLs, which must be absolutely devastating to have that happen in your 18th year and still getting picked up. It's a really heartening story of hope to anyone that does have that severe injury, but it doesn't rule you out.
Yeah, you can't imagine how they feel in that moment. I mean, the life from a football perspective must flash before their eyes. But look, he's an athlete, as you just said, the elite running capacity. I think he plays that high half forward role really, really well. He hits the front of the contest really well. He's one of those players whose hands just put his teammates in better positions consistently. So he had a game earlier in the year where, he averaged 10 score involvements across 3 games of Coast League footy, and that's what he does. He just puts people in better positions and has a real genuine impact on the game.
So next up, we've got the Melbourne Football Club with pick 30. Of course, a new coach, a new era. They've moved on some of their more senior players. They're looking to inject some young players through the draft. What do you think they need here, Nick, as they look for their pick 30?
Yeah, I think to me it looks like, when Stephen King's come in.
Well, picks in for Melbourne.
With pick 30, Melbourne have selected Thomas Matthews from Gippsland Power and the Moe Football Club.
So was named Gippsland captain in 2025. A pretty ferocious small forward, and looked like
Wow, what a
to really elevate
Is he even on the fan hub?
Matches due to a PCL this year. Another story of someone that's done a serious knee injury, but clubs are looking past that to the future.
Well, please play well when you get the chance. He played in a young guns game for Vic Country in the trial, getting ready for champs this year. Kicked the winning goal right at the end. 4 goals. Really set himself up. Had a great 17th year. As a result, ends up captain of Gippsland Power at the start. And then it all didn't go to plan, but the clubs go back over it. Don't worry. They'll watch them very, very closely right through that 17th year. We're watching those games early, and what a turnaround for this young fella. Would have been pretty flat for most of the year, having had that injury just as the year started, but rewarded because the clubs are now starting to look to long-term future. They can put up with some of the 6 months away from playing if they think they've got the talent.
Yeah, Lockie Schultz type for mine. I mean, Jason Taylor and Tinland don't get too many wrong at the Melbourne Footy Club, and they're not in rebuild mode. I think they're in replenish, is what I think the Melbourne Footy Club's at. But this kid, Thomas Matthews, his recovery skills are sublime. When he gets involved in a contest, he's knocked off balance or happens to get knocked to the ground, his ability to recover is exceptional.
Melbourne have got Thomas Matthews. They picked 30.
He's got a quick release, so Charlie Spargo goes out.
Richmond are on the clock.
Nice young prospect to replace that gap on the list.
So we look ahead to Richmond. They've got pick number 31. They're an interesting study, the Tigers, because last year they had that monster haul. They were able to get a big group of players in. They were able to cover all areas of the ground. And then now they come into the draft and be able to work on that, to be able to flesh that out a little.
Yeah, they did, didn't they? They went bang last year, let's be honest, and they set the tone. And on the back of that, they've managed to win 5 games of football with such a young group as well. So I think I said last year I could see them knocking on the door of finals within 3 years, and they're well on their way to doing that. Starting to hit the need a little bit now, which is incredible in terms of where the journey is, where their less build is. Likes of Blair Hartley in the room, obviously Tim Livingston, guys that have been around football a long time, very, very good decision makers that having a huge impact on a footy club that's going to bounce pretty quickly.
So they've taken a couple of midfielders in Cumming and Grills. So where do you think they land with this next pick based on who's on the board?
Yeah, look, I genuinely think another running half-back type. I know they got Steve Brill in last night. That seems to be where the game's going. I think the game's played and a lot of the winning positions on the ground of those counter-attacks. So I think that is. So I'd like to think maybe a running half-back type. So they just have to hit the midfield a little bit.
Yeah, they stocked up the tall forwards last year, didn't they? And those boys all got a good taste of full and strong. Sims as well. So there's 3 tall forwards there that are going to take the 2 to 3 years to really reach their peak. So I think they've got to stick to that midfield run, whether it be inside or outside. Like Geisha, another one in there that's a key part of their recruiting team now as the bosses that recruiting. Blair Hartley, of course, you mentioned. So they've got a lot of experience there and in an exciting phase for the footy club.
We see on the screen there too, Sarah, obviously the need for Ruckman taking down Curvis in the twilight of his career.
Pick is in.
We await confirmation from AFL HQ after pick has been lodged. They will look pretty relaxed. Everyone is smiling in the room as they wait to say. It must be a great feeling knowing that you're going to meet someone's dream come true after this bell and Greg.
There you go, darling.
Thank you.
Thank you, love.
Richmond has selected Zane Piker from Woodville, West Torrens and Port District Football Club.
Who's sitting up front?
So
Might be Sam or something.
Did I ask you?
there's still plenty of players that are going to achieve.
Well, the pick is in.
With pick 32, Collingwood have selected Tyan Prindable from the Brisbane Lions Academy and the Cooperoo Junior Football Club.
So the Brisbane Lions electing not to match the bid here. A very capable, strong midfielder, Mick.
Yeah, there we go, Sarah. There's another one that's been prepared by another football club and makes their way. And Craig McRae, very, very happy there. Look, his ability to spread and especially on the turnover is exceptional. He's got equal ability on both sides of the body, left and right. And you just watch him shift. I've got clean with exclamation.
Prindable, he was 80th on the board according to Fox Footy.
Strong inside contested type, played 5 VFL games this year and makes his way to the Pies.
Yeah, another lefty too. Gee, how many have we had? Maybe a dozen or so, I think, of left footers, and a real pro. He got his opportunity with the Allies too this year. The gaps opened up with a couple of boys from the Gold Coast that were injured, and then he come and right from the start, he was right up to the standard. He's very composed, so professional in his preparation. Leaves nothing to chance. He's the best preparer, they felt, at the Brisbane Lions Academy for getting ready to play and for recovering, coming up again. But that level of consistency then comes into his game. Translates into the sort of player.
3 minutes to go in Geelong's bid.
We can see there our Fox Sports Lab had him ranked at 80, so getting picked up at number 32 is a bit of a bolter, but as you say, still a very highly regarded and accomplished player, so different opinions of different clubs.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're doing a fantastic job too, the Brisbane Lions, at getting quality talent through their academy. These aren't guys that are being picked in the back end of the draft. This is high-end talent, and again, we've got another player that makes his way onto a different club's list. He'll adapt very, very quickly through the experience that he's had, and as I mentioned earlier, Collingwood Footy Club look happy to get him through the door.
All right, we've got the Cats coming up next to pick number 33, and well, they are the masters of the draft in recent times. They have had some incredible success stories over the years with picks later in the draft shifter. Let's see what they're doing here.
With pick 33, Geelong Cats have selected Hunter Holmes from the Oakley Chargers and the Paran Junior Football Club.
What a story. The brothers are united in Max Holmes and his brother Hunter. This is a really cool thing about that draft.
It's fantastic, isn't it?
Well, Matt Siles' brothers off to Geelong.
And again, you didn't see much of Max in his draft. It was the COVID year. It was a great pluck, I think, to take him at 20. This boy, we've seen him play this year, not only play at the Oakley Chargers, but progress very quickly in his first year in elite development into Vic Metro and hold his own. And then when we seen him test, he's unbelievable speed again, like Max. He doesn't quite know how to use it yet. That will come with development. And why are they quick? Well, Lee Naylor, the mum, was an Olympian, she's an Olympian and a Commonwealth Games gold medalist and a sprinter. I can remember her as a great athlete. And so he's got some real weapons about him, young Hunter. He'll make a name for himself. You know, he'll develop over time. But that exit speed out of stoppage is quite brilliant. It's breathtaking and eye-catching. And he had such a good year, averaging 18 on disposals at Oakley, and then held his own against the best midfielders playing in national champs this year.
Yeah, I thought he played slightly different to his brother. He's the sort of player that generally plays inside the contest, a real genuine distributor. And like you say, Shifter, his ability to create separation out of the stoppage is exceptional.
Hunter Holmes, he was 63rd on the list on the board.
The other thing, just looking in that room, if I'm playing poker, I think I want Stephen Wells in my corner because he just gives nothing away. So it's great to see the brothers get back together.
Yeah, really great for the family. So thrilled for their mum and dad that they're going to see the boys be able to play together. It must be a wonderful moment as a parent to be able to watch that. And I'm sure Max is thrilled that he'll have baby bro alongside him.
Yeah, I see Lee, the mum, interviewed during the finals with Max playing, and the question was asked of how does she feel. She said, I just make out it's Auskick and the kids are just having a run around. I don't get too caught up in it. I just enjoy the experience rather than get so involved and concerned about how he might play, and relax through it. And seeing him play professional sport is just a wonderful thrill in its own right.
She was an incredible runner too back in the day, as you say, Olympics, Commonwealth Games alongside Lee Naylor, and she was then a superstar runner for Australia. As we have a look at the next club up, it is the West Coast Eagles, pick number 3.
Eagles have got the
Very
pick.
active players in this draft. We know Constant. There, our Fox Sports Lab had him ranked at 80, so getting him up at number 32 is a bit of a bolter, but as you say, still a very highly regarded and accomplished player, so different opinions of different clubs.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're doing a fantastic job too, the Brisbane Lions, at getting quality talent through their academy. These aren't guys that are being picked in the back end of the draft. This is high-end talent, and again, we've got another player that makes his
The eyes out of the best kids in the nation.
With positions that had
West Coast got 34.
Defence, midfield, do they go forward to round that out now, Nick?
Yeah, it's interesting. And you mentioned, Shifter, the people in the room too. Todd Nisbet, one of the quiet achievers within the industry when it comes to recruiting, but a very, very astute mind. He's one of the really bright, up-and-coming talent ID personnel. To get to your point, Sarah, I was thinking forward. I think they've done a really nice job with Josh Lindsay. We've seen him really start to accumulate some mids. So whether it's a Noah Hibbins-Hargrave, someone like that, somebody that can get up the ground, play that high half-forward type role, I'd expect them as they start to round out their list and develop.
Thinking about our draft.
It's fantastic, isn't it? And why not? Well, Max has won a couple of best and fairest already, and he
So this one, someone's got a phone in the hand. We're a little suspicious about what's going on. It might not be as straightforward as just a normal pick. So
They're also granting a team of those who got drafted.
They've certainly got some work to do. I know we've touched on it. It's been spoken about very broadly around the work that the West Coast Eagles have got ahead of them. But I think so far, this has been that draft we've all been waiting for from that football club. They've gone hard, they've been aggressive, and they have brought some genuine top-end talent through across just about every area of the ground. We're just waiting to see the forward pop up, as mentioned, but their mids have got the ability to play a number of different positions.
there we go. The trade has gone through. So West Coast have moved down the order, and Hawthorn have popped up. They obviously see something on the board that they want to get.
Hawthorn got 34 for 52.
Their next pick wasn't coming for quite some time.
Yeah, so it's the obvious conclusion, isn't it, that there's someone there that they rate very, very highly. Can't believe he's there. If they were to wait to their normal pick in the sequence, someone else would grab him for sure. So that now's the time to move, and so you need to be agile and flexible and make decisions on the run like that when you see someone that you've really picked out that you'd love to have at your footy club. Who that is, We're going to find out in a couple of minutes' time.
And there's an insight right there. So the Hawks giving up a pick in 2025, 2026 and 2027. It just shows where we're heading when it comes to list management. It's
Very confusing.
It is, Sarah. I imagine sitting in that room right there.
That's why you're going to be good at maths at school, to calculate all the points if you want to go into the AFL world. We're just waiting on Hawthorn's pick. Here it is now.
With pick 34, Hawthorn has selected Jack Dalton from the Sandringham Dragons and the East Malvern Junior Football Club.
Well, Hawthorn got Dalton.
Another left footer shifter.
He is, and look, this is Zach Merritt from Holland. He's a beauty. I can't believe he missed the start of the year. A few boys did, but still won the Sandringham Best from Fairest Award. He was a star late in the games for Big Metro once he got himself fit and well again. Even going back to his 16th year, he's captain of Vic Metro and their MVP. So his CV looks fantastic right now. And now I can see why Hawthorn said, well, what's wrong here? Why is he still on the board? I'm going to, put a little bit of the future at risk here.
Take McRae's just keep watching. It's a banana. He'll eat banana. Just keep watching.
He can run forever. He collects the ball. That's the main thing of the game of footy when you're a smaller player, to be able to read the play, use it well. He can do all of that. Courageous young leader.
Half the time didn't even understand.
$5.53 for the 2K. That's pretty impressive.
Certainly never got
Anyway, back to the draft.
Sarah, but that's about it. But clearly you and I have spent too much time together, Shifter, because I had Zach Merritt written there as well. And I know it might seem a bit ironic and people might have a bit of a chuckle, but that's what he looks like when he plays. It's his ability to read it early on turnover and spread hard. He gets going, he gets out into space to get on the end of it. He's a Sandringham Best and Fairest winner. And like you say, just an accumulator of the football who does good things generally with ball in hand.
And given that Hawthorn were chasing a midfielder in the trade period, maybe this fits that need. They were looking for Zach Merritt.
Well, the pick's in for the Swans.
Look, that's clearly what they were after, and just got a young version.
With pick 35, the Sydney Swans have selected Javan Philippou from the Woodville West Torrens and Phantoms Football Club.
Well, Filippo's off to Sydney.
From St Kilda, a well-performed junior with great contribution.
One Filippo got him a size and the other one got him a Swans. Is there Uncle Plugger Lockett? Bargain buy from the Swans.
Great story too. We love it when we see brothers play in the AFL. It'd be great when they line up together.
The team that's got the still on ad break.
Outside, be a running, say a wingman, a back flanker. You've got to be a great decision maker. You've got to be composed. All those things are givens with any boys that they assess whether they be part of the 150 that play nationals or the.
With pick 37, Collingwood have selected Samuel Swadling from West Perth and the Whitford Junior Football Club.
So he broke the record for the most disposals averaged in the WA comp. So a prolific ball winner.
Leather poisoning, that would be the only thing that could keep him out. He's had the ball that often.
Collingwood are going with a bloke from Western Australia, Sam Swadling.
So he gets where the ball is, as Jack Dye would have said, and is a ball magnet. He showed it at national level too. It was one of those ones we just mentioned as an All-Australian that had a national championship. It was pretty special. Michael Ledcourt, excellent stoppage, very well on both sides of the body. Play half forward as well. And another boy that pushed up and played some senior footy toward the end of the year. So he's had a great couple of years. And at 189, he's a lovely size too.
Well, he kind of does look like Patrick Retchko a bit. The bloke that went from Geelong to Richmond.
What struck me was his ability to get the ball centre forward. He's not getting cheap disposals. He's not getting it around the back. He's getting genuine run and overlap. He's got an exquisite. The Colts team of the year over there, and I'm surprised to see him get this far because I really like what I see in Sam Swadling. Second player out of WA, second one out of the West Perth Footy Club, so a great result for them both.
Let's head to Marvel Stadium where our draft expert Ken Waterworth is watching it all unfold and the mayhem of it all. And Benny, there's some really, really highly touted players still available. What is the word there at Marvel Stadium about who might be picked up?
100% Sarah, no doubt about that. The likes of Ollie Greaves, Noah Higgins-Hargraves, a fellow WA player, and Fred Rodriguez still on the board as well. Just on Sam Swadling, he's very good mate to Swadling has a little rebound at home, and I think that might be the secret behind his very high disposal counts. The Pies getting a beauty there. From a West Coast perspective, it's really, really interesting. The first four players that they've taken tonight, all Victorians. Tyler Abdul-Durva and Josh Lindsay last night, and of course, Sam Allen as well. They're still waiting on a bid for Tyler Williams, the highly rated next generation academy prospect. Plus, they also have two more NGAs in Kobe Evans and Wes Wally, and then their father-son prospect as well in Charlie Banfield. Also worth noting as well that West Coast, as part of the special assistance package this year, received 4 extra spots for the next 3 seasons as well. So the Eagles in a pretty nice position as we head towards the back end of this draft.
All over it. And
Oh,
he's
well,
also a West Coast Academy player, so the Eagles have passed on matching that bid. Kobe, we haven't seen a great deal of him, a bit of a roller coaster season, only managed 4 games due to multiple injuries, but does have a nice step on him, Shifter.
Well, we said enough last year playing for WA.
looks like the Lions are going for Kobe Evans.
He had potential and then started the year on fire and shift from a small forward to a midfielder and was playing some dominant footy, then injured again. And got back late in the year, had even had a senior game or two. I probably believe that West Coast might have taken him as a rookie, but felt that at this point in time they had other players ahead of him in mind. So interesting the way we see it. He was part of the National Academy, an Indigenous boy, part of the National Academy, and certainly showed glimpses of what he could do right throughout the last 2 years.
Yeah, look, he's got really sharp hands in close, Kobe Evans. I really like him as a player. He gets busy and moves through the stop.
Fremantle got a pick now.
That's what's eye-catching about him. He's not someone that hovers at the contest. He really gets through. As you mentioned, Shifter, he had the injury, but he'd done a body of work. You just touched on that earlier. Did a body of work as a 17-year-old. Was able to get in and play a couple of league games late in the season, so it certainly holds some weight there. And again, I keep touching on it. Might sound like a broken record here, but we're seeing a player that's tied to one club end up on another club's list. So I think the hysteria now we can settle down on, and I think it's great to see players being developed elsewhere and moving on to other parts of the footy landscape.
Brilliant. So congratulations to Kobe Evans, headed to the Brisbane Lions. We have a look now at the Fremantle Dockers. We've got a nice selection of sweets there at pick 39. It is going to be a long night. You're going to make sure you've got the chocolate there, Mick.
Yeah, you certainly do. And I tell you, let's go back to that plate by the end of the night and let's see
how many are left.
Still in the same
Pretty
shape.
sure the Tim Tams will be gone. So the Fremantle Dockers, their pickers in, they made a bold move last night with the last pick of the night, pinching the Bombers' NGA player and doing a really fabulous job.
Yeah, and it was interesting, wasn't it, when we had a chat with Joey off air, who actually does a little bit of work and has done for a number of years with the Fremantle Dockers, and he was their target. I think they expected Essendon to match the bid Shifter on Adam Swade, but at the end of the day, the Fremantle Dockers got their man.
And so they're making a bid at this stage. We're trying to think about who it might well be, what type of player from another club they might be bidding on.
Yeah, I just wonder whether this could be a small forward type. I mean, you look at Sam Switkowski, obviously getting towards the end of his career. We saw him take Adam Swade. So they go down that path and allow Shea Bolton to spend a little bit more time through the midfield.
So we just wait and see who the bid is on and whether the club in question has matched. It is different. Last year we knew who the club was, the player in question, but here we go.
With bid 39, West Coast Eagles have matched Fremantle's bid for Tyler Williams from the Swan Districts and Redcliffe Junior Football Club.
So there we go, a really exciting small forward who screams Bobby Hill.
Yeah,
Looks like the West Coast Eagles have now got Tyler Williams.
Tested brilliantly with his numbers, 2.89 for 20. His agility, 7.88. So elite in both those areas. And you see that in his game, the way he plays. He's got nimble feet. He turns left and right. Turns his opponent inside out with his work. Had some terrific national games, and I think the West Coast were expecting a bid would come even a bit earlier. I think they would have probably matched the bid on this boy, so it didn't take them too long to say no. My enemy over the road is not going to get him. We're going to make the call on this young Indigenous player. And I can see the likeness to Bobby Hill. I've written down Tyson Stengel, same thing. That smart small forward that turns him inside out.
Fremantle got a mature age rookie.
The message must get through to all the young boys on rated in first time up for
They got Tobin Murray
senior state league.
from the Geelong VFL program.
If you're lucky enough to be on staff tonight, for many it's the rookie spot that Dave Shield or a Priest who were a mid-season draft spot. But Sean Matters probably changed that.
Well, Drew Barfield's lad won't be going to West Coast. He's off to the Saints, as West Coast didn't have any points. So no, that's it for the. That's a bit of a bolter from Ross. That's a bit of a bolter of a pick for Ross Lyne's Saints. Wow. Well, don't worry, West Coast. At least you got the 4 rookie spots. At least you're going to get McCraw. Shannon, if you're watching this, I've got some bad news for your boys. You've missed out on the West Coast. They've missed out on Drew Barfield's lad. But don't worry, at least they got Devin Robertson, Harry Schomburg, and Ben McRae under from the rookie draft.
Sees the game really well. He's a good decision maker.
And now the Swans have got pick 42.
So he's certainly tough on the inside. He's a very, very handy distributor, but for a nice athletic profile and starting to build that game around the receiving type decision maker. Nice athletic profile, and got a couple of league games in during the year as well. So, like you mentioned, the romance is gone, but the Saints have gone for a ready-made midfielder, and at 192 centimetres, they've got one in Charlie Banfield.
Pick is in for Sydney.
With pick 42, the Sydney Swans have selected Billy Cootie from Norwood and the Essendon Duda Stars.
Well, mature age are off to the Swannies. Billy Cootie.
SANFL player who can really hit the scoreboard.
Yeah, well, the Swans, they've pulled one out of the box here. He's
That's another pick out of the box. Billy Cootie off to the Swans.
in terms of their mids and
He was a pretty good player for Norwood.
with their high half forward types, and they've gone for another.
I'm absolutely shocked that Ford have gone for a mature ager.
And boost their.
Well, he played 39 games for the Lags, including the grand final last year against Glenelg.
And that's the beauty of the whole process in my mind, and a boy prepared to...
He played every game this year for the Red Lags. He nearly got Nord in the grand final in 2025.
To be quite honest, that play state legal, the hopes and dreams of getting their way through.
Brisbane have got now got the pick at 43.
They think that their time's now. And it only needs one club to like you, not the whole lot to agree. They don't agree on what you need to make it at the highest level. And obviously the Swans have seen enough with Billy to call him out. You know, maybe they've told him, maybe he's been hidden away. But wonderful to see him get his opportunity and be another one of those hidden diamonds.
And the draft is littered with stories like that over the years, sensational picks later in the draft that have been nailed by recruiting teams. So congratulations, Billy.
Well, we see an ex-AFL player getting picked
as you join the
tonight.
Swans, we turn our attention back to the reigning premiers, the Brisbane Lions. Pick number 43.
Well, Billy Cootie, he's the first mature age rookie. He was 23. Will he be another Shaw Mane?
With pick 43, Brisbane Lions have selected Cameron Kennett from Claremont and the West Coast.
Oh, no. Oh, no. We missed out on Carton.
Dan, of course, is young Cody, and
well, that's the Lions' revenge for, well, losing Archie.
we've seen him sort of progress from a centre-half back, a key defender, to be a target man up forward over the last couple of years. A target man, I mean, one capable of kicking 6 in the grand final at Colts level. He was very impressive. I love one goal he kicked from out of 50, taking a mark. It was right on it. Might have been the quarter-time break, but I thought, gee, they need a goal here. And he has thumped it through from out. He would have kicked at 55. In the national championships, he kicked 3 goals on 2 occasions. Took some great contested. He's brave overhead. He's 200 centimetres. Also a big boy as well, a very developed boy. And joining his brother, but not at the same club, of course, in the AFL.
Yeah, you're spot on. Chad. Big physical specimen.
Crows fans won't be very happy about not getting Curtin.
I was there on that Colts Grand Final day where he kicked 6 straight and just absolutely owned Optus Stadium. So, he's one that's going to develop him behind the likes of an Eric Kipwood they've got plenty of time, haven't they, the Brisbane Lions? And that's what really makes them a genuine threat going forward. If they can sit back with Cody Curtin, a little bit similar to Dan, and give him the time to really come on and find his feet, he could be absolutely anything.
The ability to play forward or back, so appealing to a club. So a bit of swagger, I'm told, which means he's a competitor, so he might be a good defender. And then obviously Harris Andrews could hand the reins over there. They are blessed and spoiled for choice at the moment. The Brisbane Lions have the next pick in the draft at pick number 44. So another one of those back-to-back picks where clubs can group them in twos, Mick.
Yeah, absolutely. And you touched on the celebrations. He's certainly not shy, Cody Curtin, by any stretch. He pulled out that many different celebrations on grand final day. It was fascinating to watch. But it is interesting to see what the Brisbane Lions will do now. And I just...
Well, pick is in for the Lions.
That would just do anything to be in their position.
With pick 44, Brisbane Lions have selected Ty Hayes from Southport and the Burleigh Football Club.
He's the nephew of Lenny Hayes.
Fantastic bloodlines, aren't they?
Brisbane have got Lenny Hayes as nephew.
But shifted up probably for work reasons or just change of lifestyle to Palm Beach Currumbin Footy Club and just playing community footy, call it that, or QAFL footy until this year when he played for Southport. Southport, of course, play in the VFL, and he's a tall wingman, 193 centimetres.
He's going to be 22 next year.
Injury, so his form through the year was fantastic. That's why he was tested by the AFL clubs. They'd seen some AFL potential in him, and but couldn't get that line on him by testing at Combine because of that injury. And
well,
was expected to be a chance to be taken late.
The Bluebaggers are finally on the board.
In his first year at VFL level.
Yeah, he's shorter user. He's certainly someone that likes
Again.
to take possession of the footy. Another left-footer, Sarah. So
wow,
that's at least what I like about Ty Hayes when I watch him play the game. He changes angles. It's an AFL trait, and when you're related to the great man Lenny Hayes, I'm sure there's been some real knowledge passed on. But he's got the ability to shift play, change lanes, and give different looks to the opposition. So it is something that's going to hold him in good stead. He's played a lot of senior football, and he'll be one that'll adapt quickly.
With pick 45, Carlton have selected Taylor Byrne from Greater Western Victoria Rebels and the Croydon Football Club.
Could be a bit of a Sean Manor type in the AFL level.
Carlton got Byrne.
And has no issues at all finding and shifter.
Yeah, he's not that big, Taylor Bird at 174 centimetres, but I tell you, he can do his jump. He's a dangerous one-on-one player when he plays as a small forward. Can also play in the midfield. One of the best and fairest up there at the Rebels as a guy playing mainly midfield and helping out up forward. But he had a breakout game, and that was a big game. Vic Country versus Vic Metro. Kicked 5 goals playing as the small forward that said to probably 18 clubs, I've got the talent to play AFL. And a late pick, but gee, he's got some special qualities. Love the way he went about it. Just consistency at the Rebels level was fantastic, and a boy from down there at Croydon in the Hamburg region.
Yeah, very impressive scout profile as we see on screen there. You touched on the midfield stuff, Shifter. I like the way they threw him in as that impact mid. He's got a really high work rate on both sides of the ball, both offensively and defensively. You talk about big games too, 22 disposals and 3 goals versus the Northern Knights in round 12. So he's someone that can find the footy. He can also go forward and hit the scoreboard and kick multiple. So very handy pickup there.
North Melbourne next up, and there is a bid pending. So another academy player we would assume here. More bids in the 2025 draft is going to be remembered as the year of the bidding, and certainly the new rules have brought that to the fore. But North Melbourne having a look here at something that is on the table that takes their eye from one of the other academies.
Yeah, I think with the bidding too, Sarah, it's something different, isn't it? And sometimes it takes us a bit of time to adapt and understand the new landscape of what footy looks like. We've seen
Now we got North.
Future picks.
Pick is in.
With pick 46, Gold Coast Suns have selected Kobe Coulson from and the Gold Coast Suns Academy and the Broadbeach Junior Football Club.
How good is that? Look at those pictures. Wonderful scenes for Kobe Coulson, the inside midfielder.
Another academy bid.
This is a Suns Foundation
Match.
member, current #1 ticket holder. He's gone on a couple of pre-season camps to New Zealand with his dad as well. So this is a really cool story. Bases his game on Matt Rao and gets to play with Matt now as well.
Amazing, isn't it? Seen all Australian on the board at Big Footy.
Oh, it's just unreal. I've just been waiting for this moment for so long.
The Kangaroos got the next
Everyone
pick.
behind me here. Yeah, it's just unreal to think about this.
Talk to us about your family association with the football club, how much you love the place.
Oh yeah, I love the place. Ever since I guess we came in the system in 2011, we've always just been great supporters, me and my family. And yeah, I think it's just a dream come true being able to come to the club.
The ability of Gold Coast to be able to retain all of the academy picks tonight and last night has been quite incredible. How close is the group that all train together and work together, and how committed are you to really building something?
Oh yeah, we're all really close. We got Bo, Giant, Zeke all behind me. So yeah, it's unreal to have them here with me tonight, and then them getting drafted last night. It's just unreal having that group. We're all really connected, and being able to, I guess, train with the main squad has been unreal.
Congratulations, Kobe. What an achievement for you and your family. And you can generally and genuinely say it's a lifelong one. But, mate, did it start to play on your mind at all with the bidding that's happened and clubs not matching bids? Did you at any stage start to fear that you might not have ended up at the Gold Coast Suns?
Yeah, I think after last night when Bo and Jai went straight away at 17 and 18, my dad was stressed and he was walking around. He was walking around the room non-stop, just outside and inside. He was pretty stressed. Same as my girlfriend, she was pretty stressed. But no, I was pretty confident I was going to land at the Suns. So yeah.
Congratulations, Kobe. What a wonderful thrill for you to join the club that you love. Fantastic. But gee, you've earned it. You've had a great year. Do you put it down to your preparation? What's the reason for the massive year that you have had playing and dominating at the Suns at underage level, and then the year you had playing for the Allies as well?
Yeah, I think the preparation was one of them, having that pre-season with the main squad last year that really set myself up for this year. I think I was just really motivated to. It's always been my dream.
Well, GWS basically posted on social media saying,
AFL. So after that injury,
it's great to see Sid Kilda commit to a player.
Kobe, describe to us what
Norfolk got another bid pending.
So you see the bidders put in, you wonder maybe it's you. I mean, are you all talking amongst yourself? Are you screaming? Are you quiet? What's it like there?
Yeah, it's been pretty.
Could we see a 6-1 go to the Suns?
Well done. Love that. Oh gosh, Damien Hardwick has some talent at his disposal now, doesn't he? North Melbourne have put another bid in. So we'll wait to see what's going on here. Give it a chance not to crash.
47. Wants the bid for Jack Lyson from the Oakley Chargers and the Parkside Junior Football Club.
And it looks like Ison's off to the Blues.
Junior Football Club. Gosh, we've been waiting for this one for a while, just given the name that Jack is. He has been a really accomplished junior footballer. We've been expecting it to come. He's probably slipped a long way down than what we expected, but how thrilled he will be to be at Carlton.
Yes, and qualifies under that NGA rule. He's an Indigenous boy and really had that moment this year where he was rotated out of the Vic Metro team for a game and then put in for the next one. He saw that as a real challenge to him, an affront to him, if you like, and then took off from there. He grabbed the bit, dominated then in the back half of the year and had some games that probably Carlton and others had seen coming because he's a natural talent. He's a left footer again. 197. It's like a bit like a young Jack McRae, that was coming through the system hopefully years ago, and he was up in All Australia on 2 occasions, and now.
So he's he might maybe.
Well, the Kangaroos are next. Oh, North are taking their time to see who they're going to pick. Oh, Carlton's next pick they got is number 70. Well, we see who's actually going to be North's third pick of the draft.
Expected it, as we discussed a lot earlier, so I think the Blues have been wrapped, as we see there in the Fox Sports Lab running favouring at 27.
Yeah, Riley just doing the draft, and St Kilda have got Charlie Bearfield to pick 41. He was originally going to be a father-son to West Coast. That's the second player St Kilda got from West Coast after Liam Ryan.
We're sending you a big cheerio from us all at Fox Footy. Well done. Go and hug your mates and enjoy this. We look forward to. We'll chat to you on the Fox Footy coverage when you play your first game, yeah? That sounds like a good plan. Well done. What a champ, and so exciting for Carlton. Another big-bodied midfielder. Patrick Cripps will enjoy having that talent alongside him in the midfield.
Yeah, geez, there's no one better to learn off his there than Paddy Cripps. What a remarkable player he's been for a sustained period of time, and you start to wonder whether they're going to go for a similar type. The Kangaroos are Riley Onley. Shifter is one that's still left on the board of 195 centimetres that can play that role. We spoke about Matt LeRae, 188 centimetres, another tall midfield type. So interesting to see whether they do go for a similar type player or whether they threw that out there hoping they might have been able to slip one through.
And I think they've made their mind up pretty quickly. There are, as we talked about, some great midfielders, some terrific small forwards still about as well. will they go position-wise or next best available talent? It's a question that we'd ask a recruiter late in the draft sometimes. They'll look at the 3 or 4 taken earlier and fill that position.
Pick is in.
Pick 48, North Melbourne has selected Hugo Mukunda from Geelong Falcons and Bell Park Football Club.
Shifter expect him to play a high half-forward role at AFL level, and really good work rate seems to be one of his impressive attributes.
Oh, look, he can get off his opponent. He's got power.
Welcome to North Melbourne, Hugo Mukunda. Now we got the next pick.
Very well at the footy and reads it quickly. Has got a terrific work ethic as well in that fifth role, as they call it, as you're pushing up and down the ground. But as I say, gets off the opponent due to that. It's one of those stick to you. These days, you've got to be able to create some space, or isn't too much. Create space to use your hands creatively to set your teammate up. Very good player at national championship level for the Cruisers. Particularly loved his games against SA and Big Metro. They're big games amongst all of the best players around this boy. About 180 centimetres is out of the year in the Geelong Falcons as well.
And didn't test at the combine simply with that hamstring injury, but like you say, they've gone for genuine speed. He gets outside hard. He had a bit of a taster, played the 1 VFL game against Southport, collected 15 disposals in that particular game, but very, very effective in that specialist high half forward role. So nice pick, and different to what I expected, to be honest. I thought they may have gone a likeness for Jack Rice and gone for a little bit more height, but there you go.
So we've got the Adelaide Crows next up. Great selection of bullies there to pick number 49. They've had a quieter draft. We wait to see what they will do with this pick. And we appear to have another bid. A bid on an academy player. Any read on who this might be, Shifter?
Just to our list now, Steve, what we left that hasn't been admitted.
And we got bid pending.
If we look at that list that just popped up on the screen, Max King, possible.
With pick 49, the Sydney Swans matched the bid for Max King from the Sydney Swans Academy and the Cardiff Hawks Junior Football Club.
Well, it looks like the other Max King is off the Sydney. The reason why he's being called the other Max King is because there was already a Max King playing for St Kilda. And there was another one who was on the Melbourne rookie list in 2014 to 16.
Magnificent running jump. He's quick over 20. Will Hayward, those sorts of boys, the players that marking type forward, even a little bit of Isaac Heaney, the way you can get up in the air and be dangerous around the face of goal. They'd be surprised he's still there. He was touted at different times of being a top 20 player, but that just shows how even the draft is in the view of the clubs.
Sydney supporter who loves Isaac Heaney, so what a thrill to be drafted to the Sydney Swans, of course, as part of their academy. But a great story.
Picks in for the Crows.
With pick 50, Adelaide Crows selected Archie Ludowick from the Sandringham Dragons and the East Sandringham Junior Football.
Archie Ludowick is off to the Crows.
Yesterday, it would have been difficult sitting through the draft and not getting picked up. His moment has arrived tonight. A great forward who has some really impressive overhead attributes.
Kicked 5 in the game early this year, and I think everyone will be thinking, he's a top 10 choice. He played for the Australian under-18s, it was impressive.
Another key forward off to the Crows.
is at the highest point is very, very hard to match up on.
Compared to Aaron Cadman, which is quite the comparison.
Yeah, well, I had that down as well, Shifter. So there we go. Yeah, great minds, but he just looks super strong on the lead, and it's the extension of the arms. You talk about taking the ball at its highest point, as we see here on the highlights. Once he gets out in front, he's very, very hard to defend. He's another left footer. I love his ability to hold ground and play one-on-one. So he's not a one-trick pony. He can certainly play one-on-one. He can certainly holds ground. They've gone for the similar type. Max King, missed on him. 6 centimetres taller. Wouldn't be upset with Archie Ludovic, that's for sure.
And choice 50 Alistair.
Watching me, Jaden.
Our very own Lynchy, he wants to have that kind of career straight up premiership start. Archie. Now, Archie, congratulations. Your birthday yesterday, but you've had to wait to today to get the biggest present of your life. How are you feeling? So talk to us. Was it
Don't worry, Cameron. You'll be
which is understandable because we know you've actually
got another
been
bug
and a lot of
involved.
people expected you to go last night. Did you just have to step away for a bit? So you raced out and you heard the noise and you went, hang on a minute, has this happened for me? You've missed your moment, mate. Yeah, so we're here watching your family looking and friends looking a little confused, to be honest. The crew's just waiting. And then the moment when your name is called out, the faces, the joy, this is spectacular. And this is obviously when you heard it had to come racing down the stairs. What does it mean to have them all there with you?
Means everything. I've worked for 18 years and it finally comes true. It's the best feeling ever.
Archie, congratulations, mate. Look, many of your coaches would have said over the years it's going to be a roller coaster ride. Well, you've had the bottom of the ride going for a fair while now. It can only go up from now. You've had that injury during the year that's put you down the bottom, and then had to wait this day and a half. Let's just hope it makes you even hungrier. Is that the way you feel? What's your immediate reaction to be hungrier and hungrier to want to succeed and fulfil your dream as a genuine top AFL player?
Oh, 100%. I'm just out here now. No, Adelaide, thank you. I guess, yeah, just work as hard as I can, prove everyone wrong. And, yeah, I just want to work as hard as I can, try and get it. Yes, I don't know.
Archie, congratulations, mate. Let the emotion out. We love that. You certainly deserve to let a few tears go tonight of joy. But, mate, you've obviously got Taylor Walker, Darcy Fogarty and Riley Milthorpe to learn off. So I don't think there's 3 power forwards in the competition that you could possibly learn off that'll hold you better stead.
100%, yeah. I'm pretty keen. That'll be great to be at home. And, yeah, to be able to learn off those 3 players will be unreal.
Am I right in saying Dad is a mad St Kilda fan? Is he going to be okay going for the Adelaide Crows? We're going to have to get him a scarf.
I hope so. We'll see.
Hey, Archie, this is a superb story. I think everyone watching around Australia is so thrilled for you now. You really deserve this. You can take a big, deep breath now, relax, and enjoy a big happy birthday for yesterday. Today is truly great.
Thank you so much.
Well done, Archie.
Well, the Giants have actually got the pick now.
So wholesome.
It was originally Collingwood.
The game means to him, how much his family and friends mean, and the fact that he had to walk away and go upstairs and just separate himself from it all, it gives you chills just to think about just how much it means to these guys.
It does, and you're sitting here. I mean, 30 shifters, so we're up to pick 50. We've heard a lot of chatter around, there'll be 50 to 60 picks in this draft. So to see that raw emotion from Archie Ludovic, I mean, that's what the game's all about, and that is just a moment of relief.
It will be the first team to pass.
That'll be something
So I wonder.
Friends certainly didn't do any harm in the celebration stage, did they? They captured the moment very well, and he'll make up for that, I'm sure, later tonight.
We've got the GWS Giants now on the clock with pick 51. That is because they have swapped picks, done and traded picks with Collingwood, who have moved back in the draft. The Giants must see a player they like the look of.
With pick number 51, the GWS Giants have selected Finnegan Davis from the Western Jets and the Williamstown Juniors Football Club.
Shifted, they've already got one flying Finn in Finn Callahan. Perhaps another one, a very smooth move off halfback, always looking to stay involved, and a great runner.
Well, GWS got Finn Davis.
Yeah, and I say speed to burn too. Lovely size at 188. That's the average size of the AFL player these days. They used to be ruckman at 188. And back flank or midfield. Had a great year with the Western Jets, second in their best and fairest. Dominated as a ball winner, 28 disposals on average. But then, as we say, half back or through midfield.
From Western Jets.
Worked his way in for the final two games into Vic Metro. We've got to remember that often very tough to get into the midfield for a Vic Metro. They might have 7 or 8 boys that play in that type of role for their club, but then only a few get a go there, so they have secondary roles, which is great for their overall education. So he's a boy from Williamstown, the Western Jets, of course, and he gets his opportunity. And the number in the draft after tonight doesn't matter. You're on the list, you remember the boys training, and he's got some great qualities.
Yeah, it's the repertoire in that kicking for mine that's the most impressive with this kid. He can play both speeds in the game too. He's got the ability to take the game on. He can retain possession, which tells me he really thinks his way through the game. He's a student of the game. He had a game late in the year, 37 disposals and 7 marks against the Eastern Rangers, and that just, for mine, really stamped his authority as an AFL type. He's a hybrid. He can play on smalls due to that speed that you touched on, Shifter, and he's got the athleticism and size to play on the tools. So another rebounding, counter-attacking defender.
Adding to the orange tsunami, so going for kickers, going for running kickers, so clearly taking that on. It has been a hallmark of their game for a while now, and all in on the tsunami.
Yeah, it certainly has. Lockie Ash is what I think of, and Lockie Ash, Lockie Whitfield, both big, fantastic mentors, I'm sure, for Finn Davis as he makes his way to GWS, and it's certainly a club that's going to be in the mix in 2026 and starting to look scary again.
Scary indeed. We've got the Gold Coast Suns on the clock here at pick 52, and we can see there the draft picks they've managed to get. They've been able to keep all of their academy players, which is extraordinary. It's great work. They've had to really plot and plan to make sure they've had enough points to be able to do so. And, well, Damien Hardwick's got some talent there.
And that would be a record. I think a number of years ago they had 4 players that were taken, but to have 5, a record. And we keep repeating it, but we'd only dreamed of this 20 years ago, that you could get so many boys coming out of that part of Australia. They're now fulfilling it. Some of those boys with their backgrounds had other sporting options and have chosen our game. So it grows the pool, it grows our game, and it has taken a generation to do it. So fantastic work. I want to wrap Mark Browning, who has just retired from working with the AFL in recent days, who moved from Melbourne with the South Melbourne Football Club to captain the Sydney Swans years ago, 82, 83 it was, has worked for us for 30 years and mainly up in Queensland as the talent manager, and he started many of these programs that have seen so many boys come through to be AFL players. Nick Rivolti was the one that pointed him out to me when he was 16 and said, that boy's going to be a terrific player. Well, Nick was 186, about 69 kilos. Had the blonde hair. He looked like a little giraffe at that stage. But by the next year, he had grown 6 centimetres, played centre-half back for Queensland. The next year was the number 1 draft choice, and we know the story of his career. But Mark has been a key contributor to that.
Still a minute to go.
Programs have been run for the boys and the girls up there in Queensland for that period of time. So a big congrats to him. To see 5 from the Gold Coast. He takes part of that credit in helping set it up initially.
Gold Coast on the phone there. We believe they are talking to the Richmond Football Club about trading picks. Given they've got so many, are we getting to the point where some of these clubs have filled enough spots on their list that they might start to bow out of this draft?
Yeah, certainly. And I mean, that's what we need to get across too to the people watching is drafting's done differently now. So we might hear a lower number of draft picks through the national draft. That's not to say that there's less opportunities. We've got the SSP, obviously, over the pre-season.
Oh, Richmond have got pick 52.
So it's just being done differently. The opportunities are still there. Clubs do tend to leave a spot or two open on their list now. We've seen that. We've seen it work to great effect. But just to touch on what you said, Shifter, and I'm glad you brought Mark Browning up. He's been an incredible mentor of mine, a great friend to both of us. And when you look at what Queensland football are doing now and what they're going to do into the future, that man, we can't understate or overstate, enough what he's brought to the table, what he's been able to bring to the game. A great identifier of alternate talent too. I remember talking to him about the likes of Kurt Tippett. Coming in, he pushed up Eric Hipwood to play as an overager in the under-16 championships. When I have my doubts, you look back now and he just saw things that other people didn't. So one of the great people of football.
So Richmond are there on the clock after that trade. As we have a look at the trade recap there, the Gold Coast Suns, they've had a very busy and successful draft period so far. Richmond looking to add some more young talent. Times hit 0 there. Requesting more time or just waiting for some paperwork to lodge perhaps. But the Tides are in a position where they've got lots of young talent in. We saw a lot of them get games and play really good football this year. So it'll be interesting to see where they go with this.
Yeah, great to see a pathway to Shifter for some of the recruits. As we see Roy Geesham pick the phone up there, a guy that worked hard through the Northern Knights out at, with the TAC Cup at the time, or even jumped into the Coach Football League. But Sam Cousins there, who's worked and spent a lot of time in the talent pathway over in Western Australia. So great to see some of these guys getting an opportunity to progress through football clubs and make a name for themselves when it comes to talent ID.
Not sure what the hold-up is here because they're out of time on the clock. Hadamuse looks pretty chill, pretty relaxed. The coaches kind of can sit back tonight and let the recruiting and list managers do the bulk of the work.
Just when you thought Adamuse would be under significant pressure, didn't we? We sort of weren't 100% sure what the Tigers were
Oh, wow.
do.
Another bid pending.
The talent that they brought in the 2024 draft, but clearly they love playing for Adamuse. He's got a great connection with the players, and we look forward to this squad developing over the next couple of years and hopefully starting to put up a challenge along with the
Thank you.
Black Crows and such to the Gold Coast Suns and Brisbane Lions.
Okay, another bid pending.
Thank you. Looks like there's another Academy bid pending. And that was from, is Richmond put in a bid? Not yet. I think it might be tomorrow or something.
Yeah, maybe just in that was a who we haven't mentioned. It was an NGA to Geelong Football Club. Qualifies. He's born in Thailand, but his football heritage is pretty strong. His dad Greg was an assistant coach at the Tigers for 7 or 8 years, and he played a couple hundred games in the Sandful, so very well regarded. Yeah.
With pick 52, St Kilda have matched the bid for Kai Fincher from the Sandringham Dragons and the East Brighton Vampires Junior Football Club.
Very consistent player.
And I'm not surprised it was matched. I loved his year, to be quite honest. Maybe I was missing something, but gee, the speed he's got through the midfield, again, or through half-back was pretty
Let me check to see if Fincher's in the hub. Like the community hub.
Zebras, of course, played the senior level. Had 26 in his first and only game in the VFL to show everyone that that step up wasn't much for him. So he's still there. I'm not surprised at all that they've matched that bid, or that the bid came eventually. But him listed down with all the AFL qualities of speed, terrific kick, very busy player right throughout.
Kai Fincher is now a Saint.
His parents were working there at the time, and under the rules, that made him qualified. And he's had a terrific year and deserves this chance.
Yeah, you mentioned his attributes before. Rarely gives it back, Shifter, and I really like that about Kai Fincher. The other thing is, which is interesting, and this is where people ask about the dynamics of the combine and versus on-field. He's a player that tested 3.08 in a 20-metre sprint. Now, it's not slow by any stretch, but when you watch him play, he plays quicker than that. So it's not always about the combine testing. It's not always about that athletic stuff. He plays quicker on field, and that is the key to talent ID, when you can actually utilise all the information you're given and still make good decisions. But again, he's another very, very smart user of the footy. We know that's key to modern day football, and Kai Finchie gets his chance, which is fantastic for the Saints, and it was exciting times down there at Moorabbin.
Okay, we are back to Richmond now, and another bid, I believe. So another NGA player, another academy somewhere along the lines. It is actually extraordinary. I've lost count of how many bids we've had.
With pick 53, Essendon have matched the bid for Hussein El Achkar from the Calder Cannons and the Pascoe Vale Football Club.
No, the Bombers have actually. That's the Saints bid.
Foundation, a similar player to an Isaac Rankin, and best friends with Adam Slade. So the Bombers didn't quite make that dream come true of the boys playing together, but a really exciting moment for this young man.
He's such a natural around the goals, this small forward from the Calder Cannons. They've worked with him, Essendon, they've pushed him up and played in the VFL with him. He's only small but smart. He's got that innate goal sense that you love to see the small forwards have. He hunts the footy, he hunts the opponent as well. He's busy, he's got zest, he's got a real presence at ground level up forward, and it's great that they've been able to do that and give him his chance with the Bombers.
Yeah, I just love his bit. He plays the percentages. So for a small forward, he consistently gets front and square. I think he's got a little bit of Anthony Tipton-Woody about him. That's what I see when I watch this young fella play. Just that power through the hips, the elusiveness, the bounce. So the Bombers get a small forward in, Sarah.
Brilliant news indeed. He's finished school and he's actually working at the school that Adam Swade, who, as I said before, their best mates, goes to. So having some interest outside of football, which is super important, but I'm sure the Bombers will get him into the club and training and exhausted from pre-season pretty soon. Okay, so we are back to Richmond once again, who've been doing some bidding, and those bids have been matched of late. So the clock is back with them, Shifter. And again, you look at some players. Oliver Greaves is one who was right up the top of a lot of draft lists, an inside mid who's still on the board at the moment. It's quite extraordinary.
Yes, it is, isn't it, really, because his performance has been terrific.
Next, it looks like Richmond are still waiting.
That's the under-18 level. He's been a dominant player for the Eastern Rangers that won the premiership. He played well in the final series there. And again, throughout the Vic Metros campaign was terrific as well.
With pick 54, Richmond have selected Noah Roberts-Thompson from Sturt and the Unley Jets Junior Football Club.
Roberts-Thompson back in the AFL.
Yeah, quick lefty and a cousin of Lewis Roberts-Thompson. Unusual name, of course. So the first question you ask is you're related. And a pretty good player too. He's got that burst of speed away from centre. 292 for 20.
Noah Roberts.
Terrific endurance.
Thompson.
Can play, I think, as that hard-edged inside midfielder, or even as that medium.
He's related to Lewis Roberts-Thompson from the Swans.
Again, there must be a dozen or more that have come out of SA. What a great year for them in the draft, and Roberts-Thompson's another one that we had down as a potential AFL player with that form throughout the year.
You've summed it up perfectly, Shifter. 35 scoring shots across 16 Colts games back in the sample, so he gets consistent shots on goal, this young fella. I've watched him and I think he can play the connector, the distributor, the finisher, so he's got some real versatility and flexibility within his game.
Well, Collingwood have got a pick.
5 clearances at Colts level, so he's someone that's genuinely impactful in no matter what role he plays on the ground. But, size of 181 centimetres too, Shifter. We've seen him taller, but it's the power and flexibility that this young fella brings to the table, which I think is his best attribute.
With pick 55, Collingwood have selected Zach McCarthy from the Oakley Chargers and the Kew Comets Junior Football Club.
A tall, rugged forward, a really raw athletic talent and exciting prospect.
He is, again, boy that I suppose his future position, you'd debate, that's all. He's quick, athletic, can play tall forward, no doubt, tall defence. He helps out in the ruck. He kicked goals playing for Vic Metro this year, but he turned his opponent inside.
Collingwood have just got sacked McCarthy.
Around and get back towards goal. Took the radar a bit because he mixed his footy between Oakley and his school footy and had some injuries through the year, so clubs couldn't quite get alive. I think the Pies would have thought that this boy would be available a wee bit earlier, but this boy has done very, very well this year. His mother was, of course, born in Vietnam, so that makes him qualify for that position.
Goodness me, I don't know whether he's going to have an injury under that. That is intense. Congratulations to Zach, and how good. I mean, you see the friendships that these young men have formed and, teammates and family. It is a really beautiful, really wholesome part of the draft. It is a night of pure joy and excitement and, celebrating a lifetime dream. And I assume Zach's under there somewhere. Love to talk to him if he ever emerges.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of Rowan Marshall about Zach McCarthy, and that's shifting to talk about where's he going to play. When you've got the athletic prowess that this young man has, I think he'd just about play anywhere. So it's going to be fascinating to see where the Pies do see him, and they do have a need for height. We know that, and great to see him invest in their own backyard.
Yeah, and his brother's already on the development list with their VFL team, a very impressive defender, not as big as young Zach. Zach's 199, when we say he's got a massive upside, he'll grow another 3 or 4 centimetres by the look of him. Love what we've seen of him this year, and I think that'd be surprised, the Pies, that he's still there at that point.
Brilliant. Well, we're hoping to cross to Zach shortly just to ensure that he did survive that massive pack that he was at the bottom of. Craig McRae watching on with the Collingwood hierarchy. Great scenes and so good to see these young men realise the dream. I mean, it is a life-changing moment. What happens from here and what they do with the opportunity is, remains to be seen, but such a big thing for a young man to join an AFL club.
I think Fly's concerns might align with yours, Sarah, because he's looking at the screen open. He pops up from under that pack as well.
Okay, well, we've got the thumbs up that he is okay, but perhaps a bit busy to
Adelaide are still on the clock.
When he makes his debut for Collingwood Football Club, whenever that might be. Who have we got next? We've got the Adelaide Crows. Pick 56 now shifted. Just for some context for people watching at home, how many picks are we likely to see tonight? Are we approaching the pointy end of the draft? Pick 56, how many more are we likely to see go? Yes. And will clubs start to drop out?
Yeah, so they've got other options, the clubs, obviously, with their list. They've got the supplemental period over summer where they can add additional players. They'll be thinking as much as 6 months on to the mid-season draft of next year, so they don't have to fill every spot. If they want to leave an incentive for someone to push in at some point, you can even upgrade rookies. All those things make the management of their list fairly flexible, the back end of their list. So they've got some options. Some might be tight on salary cap, etc., etc. So they'll have a plan. If they think a player's good enough on the board that they want to invest in, they will, or they may decide, well, no, we've got enough at this point and opt to go out. So, yeah, individual club choice.
And a few clubs have told players currently on their list that after delisting them, they will pick them up. Someone like a stringer at the GWS Giants. So, examples of that. There are lots of different ways to put together your list. So we wait to see what the Adelaide Crows are doing here.
We have a pre-season draft as well. In recent years, I think 1 or 2 players would go in that onto the primary list of clubs, but that's all part of the mix.
Will the Crows take their pick or will they pass?
The Adelaide Crows, one of the big performers of season 2025, so looking to add to a list that was in pretty good shape this week. And the Adelaide Crows have passed, so they are out of the draft, so they are the first club to bow out, and they will pack up and go home and be pretty happy with what they have achieved and accumulated in this draft.
Yeah, and if you look
the Crows are out at the draft.
This is why it's critical that we continue to invest in state leagues as well, because some of these young men will find their way back there, and there are stories one after the other about players such as Tim Kelly, Matt Prittis, Marlon Pickett, Sean Manor that Shifter touched on. So the opportunities are there. We've got to continue to make sure that they're strong, viable competitions so that these guys can go back and get an opportunity in the next couple of years.
Melbourne are on the clock with pick 56, waiting to see whether they will select a player or whether they are done for this evening. And as you say, I mean, you really do feel for the young men and their families that are watching at home, just, you know, hoping and fingers crossed that they do get picked up, that, you know, tonight is not the end. There are other ways to make your way onto an AFL list, and we've seen countless examples of that over the years. So, you know, don't lose heart if tonight isn't your night. Still a couple more picks left, though.
Historically, 28% of the players that end up playing in the AFL are picked older than 18. So 72% when you're 18, your first time up. Other boys come in later for all the methods we've talked about. So there is opportunity there, but you need to have that strong belief. It becomes a major disappointment in your life not to be picked, but it's not the end of the world. It might take a couple of days to realise I'll get back on the horse, as they say, and get stuck into it and prove people wrong. And that drives you, can drive you to get fitter, stronger, braver, and get a performance on the board that no one could ignore. And that's a resetting. There is, of course, for these 18-year-olds, the rookie draft tomorrow.
Melbourne has passed, so they are officially out of the draft.
Well, Melbourne are out. Well, Melbourne are packing up.
The son of Jeff White. Just one moment, actually. Fire's managed to get Zach McCarthy on FaceTime. Oh, and he's got a Collingwood jumper on already, so well done. That's very well done by the youngster, and what a moment being able to chat to Fly. Kalani White, Jeff White's son, hasn't been picked up. Potentially could be rookied later.
That'll be tomorrow. You'd think that he would, along with Will Darcy is the other one that under father-son, I think
might be looking at that.
He'd be looking at a rookie opportunity. They're both boys with enormous potential to play AFL. I think they're ready to get into the system in terms of...
Looks like those two might be off to the rookie draft, White and Darcy.
They've got some elite natural talent, but will take...
Hawthorn have got the next pick.
I think the clubs are committed to them and would take them in that rookie draft as they get the chance to, through the father-son rule, take them before the draft commences so they know they're home. But they were ready, should a bid have come, to make their minds up on whether they'd match the bid tonight or not. But, so it's a bit more, I suppose, certainty for those two boys, Kalani White and Big Darcy, the next of the Darcys.
Smart man, Zach McCarthy, Sarah, because he's taken Fly's call before he's taken out, so he certainly knows where his bread's going.
With pick 56, Hawthorn have selected Matthew Leray from Central Districts and the Golden Grove Football Club.
Matt Laray's off the Hawthorn. That's the third one from Centrals.
Test match tomorrow. This boy at one stage was probably dreaming of being the next leg spinner for Australia. He played for SA at under 17 level. He had to make a choice, and it's come from his way. He was Harley Barker, it was on one wing, and Leray on the other, that dominated for SA in the championships. They looked the same too, with this shock of blondish hair, the curly blonde hair. Had a great championship. I loved his elite running. He was... the GPS said he's one of the quickest players that played in those championships when you looked at that data. And it was his ability to work up and down the ground, like an Ollie Dempsey. It's a different body shape to Ollie, but got up and down the ground. Was helping out deep in defence. Dangerous when he got into attack. Loved the way he backed under it too when he had to and take those contested marks. And he's a boy of 188. Lovely size to play in that. And as we say...
Collingwood are on the board now.
Chose the footy path and... he'll be very pleased tonight that he has done that.
Another great story. Congratulations to Matt Leray, off to the Hawthorn Football Club. What a club to be joining at the moment. The Hawks, of course, playing some awesome football under Sam Mitchell, and to have a really exciting couple of years ahead as we turn our attention to Collingwood. They have pick 57 and active or whether they will bow out of the draft. As we said before already, Adelaide and the Melbourne Football Club have passed and finished up for the night. And I expect we'll see clubs slowly begin to do that as we reach the final rounds of this 2025 draft.
Yeah, and I mean, look, we touched on it, didn't we, about second chances, not giving up hope. But let's be honest, there's going to be some very disappointed young men and some shattered families around the country tonight. So our hearts and our thoughts do sit with those players in the midst of the disappointment. They will get back on the bike, there's no doubt about that, and it takes a lot of resilience to do that. I think of the likes of, like I've touched on earlier, like a Matt Prittis type.
With pick 57, Collingwood have selected Angus Anderson from Sturt and the Sawtell to Amina Saints Juniors.
Shifter, a mature age SANFL player.
Yeah, and a living example now of the need to persevere. He was a Swans Academy boy, this young fellow, and looked to have real AFL potential in his 18th year and was talked up, like many of these boys have been tonight, as a chance. Great endurance, great...
Collingwood have got Angus Anderson.
It didn't happen at that time for him, and he's chosen to go to the SANFL and become a dominant midfielder. I noted his form this year at times was pretty special. I thought, gee, he's still working hard with that dream still alive that he might get into the AFL. There wasn't a hint from anyone at all that he would, but gee, Collingwood have assessed him well, had a good hard look. I always loved his leadership and his heart about him, and his elite running power. And just taken a couple more years to start to get towards, in the view of the club's AFL potential, and Collingwood have seen that in him.
And this is where the tactics sit around your list management.
Night, Mum. Got it. I miss you too, Mum.
It's been a long day for you, 4 days without your back. As long as I know you're having fun, I'm okay.
Got it.
I love you very much.
Got it.
Don't lock the doors before you go, will you?
Yes.
Oh, no worries, my darling.
Got it.
I hope you're seeing the shopping morning.
Don't have too much.
So, got it.
Absolute champions of the game.
Yeah.
So someone like an Angus Anderson can bridge that gap between the next group of young players coming through, the older players transitioning out, and this is really, really critical when it comes to your list management and how you do transition those groups and hand over. Geelong are a great example of a team that's been able to do that without bottoming right out, and just gradually turn that over and put some mature age players around, you know, the young players coming into their team.
Richmond have bowed out of the draft for 2025. They have passed their final selection, so they are done, content with what they've been able to select. And we've got Port Adelaide. I think I'm right in saying this is the first time we've seen Port Adelaide. Been very, very quiet in the draft.
Well, welcome to the draft, Port Adelaide.
They don't look that busy at the minute either.
No, you're right, Sarah. It is interesting. You know, they're a club that's probably going to rebuild a little bit.
Have been passed.
And they're upgrading rookies. That's how they're using their choices this year. They've got guys
Oh, wow.
that they want to put onto their
Well, that was a quick exit.
Another indication of the importance of tomorrow with that rookie draft at 3 o'clock. So hopefully for another 10 to 15 boys who have been contenders tonight, not quite chosen. Take a deep breath. You'll be disappointed, but yeah, for some, that'll turn around pretty quickly tomorrow. You'll get your chance and hopefully get an upgrade as soon as it can be, as soon as game one next year. So things can happen rapidly. Yes.
So that's Adelaide, Melbourne, Richmond and Port by my calculations that are out and have passed all their picks. We look to St Kilda.
Definitely starting to slow down a little bit now as we see clubs, you know, work through how many spots they will leave open on their list, what's still left on the board. And, you know, as Shifter mentioned, that's not to say some of these young men won't get a train-on spot at an AFL club over, you know, the next 6 to 8 weeks and then bob up in the SSP when the club's had a closer look at them. So there's so many different mechanisms to your list management and your recruiting strategy now that play a part in AFL football, and doesn't make it any easier for the young guys and the families out there, does it, Shifter? But just got to stay positive, hang in there, and continue to keep your head down.
I think Port might be the first club to ever not have a selection in the draft. They have told us that they will be doing some rookie upgrades, as you suggested, Shifter, but they obviously have to attend tonight and sit in the room and do the things, but they've had a very quiet period as we look to St Kilda, who surely they're not passing if they've just been sitting here. If you're passing, you put the pass bid in straight away, don't you? You don't let the clock run down.
Yeah, well, you think
The
so.
dramatic
Yeah,
effect.
quite possibly. You got Sauce and Gubby in the room, so God only knows what's happening. And, you know, we've touched on before some of the other people around the periphery, like Peter Allen, the former AFL employee. I mean, she does a fantastic job out there at the Saints, and I'm sure she gets a laugh out of that group at times. But I'm excited to see what the Saints do. I really am. I think their supporters have been dying to witness their team in a grand final again, hopefully take that final step and put another Premiership Cup in the cabinet. And I can't wait to sit back and watch how this group unfolds.
Okay, so we have here their needs based on if they are actually doing something in the draft. Once again, there's some really talented young players that are still remaining, so hopefully the pick is in. We'll find out.
With pick 58, St Kilda have selected Ryan Burns from St Kilda and the St Paul's McKinnon Junior Football Club.
So a reselection here, Shifter.
Yeah, we assessed it and decided that Ryan, he's played some solid football for them for a number of years, and they've seen the qualities that he's still got and probably his attitude to being put off being a positive one. So they've seen.
Oh, welcome back, Ryan Burns, to St Kilda.
It is. Yeah, it's never over until you decide it's over, and all of a sudden they've decided that he can still contribute to what they'll want. And as I say, he's been a very good player and a very competitive one for the Saints in his career there today.
Looks like the Saints are shutting up shop.
Yeah,
the laptops are closed.
Yep.
Cords are pulled out, power's turned off, so it looks like they're set to bring a close to their 2025 draft hand.
It looks like Sydney is done. They are passing.
Swans are also passing.
That's them out, so we can add Sydney to the list. So that's Adelaide, Melbourne, Richmond, Port Adelaide, Sydney, and based on the laptop, St Kilda to that cut of the draft. As we look now to Fremantle, pick number 59.
It is interesting, isn't it, with Fremantle? I'm excited to see what they can do. I think with the youth that they've got on their list, we saw them add Shifter a bit of mature age talent in their last selection, and I just think there's a lot of excitement around the Fremantle Footy Club. I'd like to see them really take the game on, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do with the three tall forwards as well, between Tracy, obviously Voss and Amos. All three like to play out of the goal square. Maybe it's Tracy that plays
Well, since
up the ground and plays that.
draft is pretty much over, we'll pretty much end the stream.